Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om. Yesterday we went through the entire 18 chapters in a Rajdhani speed. Again, we will go through that exercise with a chart. Some key points from each chapter. Then we can choose which chapter we should go through and get some more ideas so that we will be able to move closer to the awareness of the truth. That should be borne in mind. That we are trying to become, whatever we do, it is only to become aware of the truth within. That should be very clear in our mind. We are not interested in the textual proficiency or what you call mastering the text. We are trying to eke out what will help us in making us aware of His presence within us. Because this is our first attempt to have an overview of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So there are about 18 rooms in this great mansion. If we get stuck in one room, we may not be able to know what is in the other room. So first we will go to all the rooms. We will not get stuck anywhere. Come out and try, if possible, we can come out from each room. Spend some time mentally on it. Then go to the second, the third. Like that 18 chapters, we will try to go through 18 rooms. We will display a chart now. We will slowly go through each and every one. Those who are interested, they can also note down. So let this be very clear. We are trying to enter into the 18-roomed mansion. Each room is separate. Each room's dimension also is separate. But the core is one and the same. So that we will come to know wherever the amplification is necessary, explanation is necessary, the Lord chooses to repeat the whole thing again and again in many of the chapters. So that we should be very clear. So the first chapter talks about delusion born out of me and mine. That is the first chapter. It stems from the me and mine, everything. We are unable to see everything as they are because of this me and mine. We have colorized it with our own preconceived notions, with our rights and wrongs, with our likes and dislikes, preferences and priorities. So that is how, so we never knew about it. So Bhagavad Gita points out in the first that this is the first problem we are facing. Any conflict inside at the three tiers of life, namely family, profession and society. If we try to dwell on this, again we repeat, during the past moments, during the sattvic moments, if we try to bring it this in the idea, when it is needed, it can be used. That is how this Satsang concept has come to our elders. Because during the Satsang, we are free from all our routine thoughts, routine challenges, routine duties. So we can try as much as possible to assimilate or absorb and keep it ready in our stock. And then after the Satsang, when we deal with men and matters, it might become useful. Of course, it is proportionate to the extent we imbibe it, we assimilate it. So all those thoughts they give you in the first chapter. First chapter elaborately about the me and mine. attachment, possessiveness, that makes us, restless, stressful. And from there we move to Sankhya Yoga. Immortality and indivisibility of the self. So as soon as I understand that this is my problem, immediately I should be able to know that there is a problem is identified by an entity called the sense of individuality, but we become aware of it, Who is becoming aware? So there are two things that are going on in us. The real I and the individualized I. So immortality and indivisibility of the self. And this individualized self is centered on the body. So perishability of the body. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. So many shlokas. The problem or the conflict or the delusion has come from the sense of individuality. But the sense of individuality cannot exist by itself. The subtle and mysterious power called Atman or Brahman is there even while we are talking now, even while all of us are hearing now. That power is there, otherwise we will not be able to talk, we will not be able to hear. So we are trying to separate this. The second Sankhya Yoga enables us to sift the eternal and the ephemeral nature. The eternal nature of the Atman and the ephemeral nature of the body. Body, mind, intellect complex. This is there are about 72 shlokas. We are only trying to take the key points. There could be so many key points as you approach. But this will directly help us. And then act while not expecting the fruit. Because many problems stems from that. We remember Puja Swami Chinmayanji used to say this. Disappointments can come only to those who make appointments with the future. That means we have already made an appointment with the future. It is not in our hands. And then do make appointments not with the future but with the present. That is exactly what is called act while not expecting the fruit. Nice to hear all these things, okay, it's a flowery word, but we keep on thinking about it. How does the delusion come? Because I act with expectation of the results. Whereas I know intellectually, rationally, logically, that there are so many contributory factors that will decide the result. Not merely the sense of individuality, feeling it as a self-effort. Then self-control. When I see something on a plate, I immediately rush up to eat. When I hear something, I immediately start hearing it, feel for it. When I want to touch something, when I feel something, I immediately, my sense of touch runs there. So sense of smelling, sense of eating, sense of hearing, everything, So that means the moment I open my eyes, the sense organs become a prey to, become subservient to the sense field. To withdraw the senses from the field and to have the control, not that we should not enjoy. We are permitted to enjoy, that is why sense objects are there. In this connection, we remember the 4 E's. There are Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. somebody named it as 4 E's. Beautiful. Ethics, earning, enjoyment, emancipation. First we start with ethics. Moral ethical foundation, no? Our life. It is nothing but properly relating ourselves, connecting ourselves with the rest of the creation with an overall knowledge of the indwelling reality. That is what is called ethics. If we have to properly relate ourselves to the rest of the creation, there must be some commonness, Then only we will be able to do the correct relationship. So that is there, not very clear, but it is there. And then we try to properly relate ourselves with the entire creation, nature and society. This is our base. And from there, when we reach that stage, we can earn. Righteously we can earn. Whether I am an employee, whether I am a businessman, whether I am an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor, anything. Wherever I am, if I am grounded in the ethics, I will be able to bring out efficiency in action, quality in my action, at the same time eke out a decent livelihood out of it. This is all permitted. And then enjoyment. That's why we remembered. God has given us the sense feel and we can enjoy, but it should be based upon ethics. Grihastha dharma is also given to us. Sense objects are given to us, sense organs are given to us, but everything should be under control. That is what is called ethics here. And finally, when we lead this life, still a stage comes when we feel we are nowhere near fullness. Then we think about the last one, emancipation. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So here, when we go through this, the self-control is very important. So second chapter talks about self-control also. So immortality and indivisibility of the self, Atman, perishability of the body, mind, intellect, act while not expecting the fruit, self-control, equanimity of the mind, samatvam yoga muchyate, and yoga karmasu kaushalam, efficiency in action. These are some of the key points. And then we go to the third, karma yoga. Act with dispassion. Act with freedom from attachment and aversion. We should always be reminding ourselves that we are trying to get out of the cage. What sort of cage it is? Conceptual prisons. We have put ourselves in conceptual prisons. We have made a concept and we are into it. We don't know how to get out of it. This is what is exactly called delusion. The reality is something, but we have just like a mist covering the outside world or a fog. The reality is something else. So we are trying, but at the same time we have to act. Right from the moment God puts us into the waking state, always it is active. Everything is active. But act with dispassion. Act with freedom from attachment and aversion. Do a lot of things. How can we do that? Only by thinking about Him. You have asked me, the boss has asked me to do this particular act, we act. The result is not a matter for us to think over. with dispassion. No? We are not attached to it. Neither we develop any aversion to it. These are all to come out of the delusion created by ourselves. Maya. And then the fourth one, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. While action is inevitable, while in action, not becoming aware of the same and feeling the action in non-action. Because there is a difference between activity and action, no? There is a mob, lot of sound, lot of disturbance. The chief or who is managing the event or the police, they comes and shouts at the top, silence, and slowly the people become silent. But it need not succeed every time. Again, after some time, it will come. But a person whom everybody revere, adore, he comes on the stage and he stands there. Everybody becomes quiet. There is no activity apparent, but action is there. Silence. Think about it. While in action, not becoming aware of the same. The person who goes and stands there, we have seen it in ashram. There was a time when at evening there will be so many devotees they insist on prasad distribution to everybody. So many items will also be there. And the queue will start from those who have come to the ashram, they know, start from the bhajana hall up to the gate or even beyond the arch. So it became uncontrollable. Everybody will come in an auto rickshaw to have the prasad. Boys, girls, known people, unknown people. So the person who was handling on those days, he was finding it difficult to manage. One day a stage came, it became totally unmanageable. So he rushed towards Puja Swamiji's room, Sachidananda Swamiji. And Swamiji, I don't know what to do. Swamiji, that Sthitapratna, the Samatvam is there. He was not excited. He got up, took the umbrella. We were also following him. He slowly went, stood there at the entrance of the bhajan hall. Everybody, as if we have switched off the light, kept quiet. There was no activity. There was no telling, please do it orderly way, please be silent, nothing like that. So act with the dispassion, while in action, not becoming aware of the same, and feeling the action in inaction. As we said, we have to try to come out of it. If we are in a position to maintain this samatvam, we feel it will become possible. In any situation. Any situation. When we say about samatvam, one more example comes in our mind. The mother was cooking. Nowadays there is no partition between the drawing room and the the kitchen and the dining hall. So her 7 or 8-year-old girl, she was playing. So the mother asked, will you go and get that vessel which is having milk? So the girl immediately got up. She was coming with the milk. Suddenly she lost her step, fell down. Entire milk was spilled out. She was frightened. What will mother say now? The mother was looking at it. She immediately came, smilingly told her daughter, "You will not get this opportunity. You can play in the milk." And later on she brought one bucket, one wiping cloth, and both of them tried to clean the whole area, and everything became clean. Mother did not utter a word about this. The girl was not in a mood to play, She was sitting, she was feeling sad. Mother was looking at it. After some time, she, without her knowledge, kept one vessel of water, plain water, in the same place. Then she told her daughter, "Will you please get me that water?" Immediately she got, mother has no anger at all. So she went there, slowly brought it, gave it to her. Then she said, without the mother asking, "Last time when I was coming with the milk, I suddenly thought of something else. With the result, I slipped. This time, I was very careful not to do it." Now look here, nothing is told to the child. But the samatva, the sense of the equanimity developed in the mother, touched and kindled the child the capacity to do everything perfectly. Think about it. There was no dictum, dogma, teaching, preaching, nothing was there. And this transformation will stay with her throughout because it is self-originated, not because of somebody telling anything. So Gita points out to this aspect. Mother did not know that this is going to be instrumental, no. While in action, not becoming aware of the same. She just wanted to give a boost to the morale, no? She was depressed, so she should not think that something has gone wrong. So without teaching, preaching, admonishing, shouting, a great lesson was taught because she was able to implement this 4th chapter. And then we move to the 5th chapter, Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Here again, feel detached from action while actions are going on. Karma Sannyas means there is elaborately, whether by karma here, what is meant here is Karma Yoga and Sannyasa Yoga, which is superior. Normally, sannyasa, normally people are thinking, to leave everything and field of activities and go and retire and contemplate more and more on the indwelling and all-pervading reality and reach the goal. Whereas Karma Yoga is wherever we are, we remain, but at the same time bring in the God dimension. So he is asking which of the two which is good, and he says Karma Yoga Vishishyate. Rather than renounce the so-called adapting to this renouncing, you be in the field. Because Gita is addressed to the man on the field. So be wherever you are. You dedicate everything to me and then carry on with your activities. So that is called Karma Sannyasa Yoga. This will help us to get out of the clutches of delusion to a very great extent. Everywhere we have to think that. We started with delusion, no? We are trying to get out of this. And then Atma Samyama Yoga. There should be some discipline, All of us have that. We used to have the discipline. Discipline on the external affairs. Unfortunately, we have not been prompted to look within and subject ourselves to various disciplines. What are they? So here he says moderation in everything. Eating, sleeping, working. And then one-pointed devotion. Concentration. Anything that we do, knowingly we do. Nothing in a half-assed way. Half-minded, no. Half-hearted. Absent-minded, no. And then evenness of mind. That balance we will never compromise. Puja Swami used to say that somebody asked him, in a tense situation, in a stressful situation, how can we know all these things? How can we control ourselves? Swamiji, first he did not answer. The devotee said, "You are not answering, Swamiji." Then he smilingly said, "Don't react immediately." We are talking about the evenness of mind, How do we ensure the evenness of mind? If anything happens, we don't immediately react. And then Swamiji slowly added, chant Ramnam for a few minutes and then react. By the time the evenness has been regained, initially there will be a jerk. God willed it. That is the purpose of Ramnam chanting. God made him to behave like this. God made this situation like this. God made the object to be there, which is causing me restlessness. So with that background, you will react. So moderation, one-pointed devotion or one-pointed mind, evenness of mind. And then we move to Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Because the question comes, we have got a set model in our mind. We have got norms, that standard. Other people need not necessarily accept. Then the conflict comes, delusion comes. My rights and wrongs, I have the right to form my own rights and wrongs. But I hardly recognize that the same right is there for everybody. I can definitely express my rights and wrongs in a loving manner. This is what I feel. So here he says, origin of all multivarious creation. This multiplicity, the variety, I should accept, Then if I start accepting that the taste, temperament, aptitude, inclination, preferences, priorities, they shift from person to person. I am taking it as granted that they should also follow the same line. Then the conflict comes. So when I go to the origin, then I will come to know which is because of the different gunas they have inherited. They are in their own karmic wrangle, just as I am in my karmic wrangle. So they cannot but act like that. All these things will become clear. 7th chapter, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Somebody beautifully coined that word, knowledge translated into action. If knowledge stays at the knowledge level, delusion will keep coming. But unless knowledge transforms itself into your life, Vijnanam, Jnana and Vijnana, knowledge and applied knowledge, We have the knowledge, multiplicity, okay. But we accept that. But when the time comes, we should be able to know that, it is because of that. So knowledge and applied knowledge. Then I will be able to a very great extent restrain my delusion. And then from there I move to the 8th chapter, Akshara Brahma Yoga. Again, the perishability of the body. Perishability of the body, mind, intellects. I came to the world with nothing. Nobody else accompanied me, and therefore I go with nothing. Nobody will accompany me. I came to the world because of that unknown power, and I go out of the world with the same power. So I must remember him at the time of leaving this body. This we have to keep on hammering into us. Not at the time of death, at the time of leaving. This reality, that will give us a lot of, freedom from delusion. Anything happens to anybody, anything happens to anything, we will be able to dispatch. Not that we will become stony minded, no. We will go out with whatever we can do. That will be there. But knowing fully well that this is also the nature of this Jagat. Nature of the Jagat is always Jaga Jaga Jaga. It is always changing. And the simple thing we have to remember is, we came to the world alone. And we have seen so many deaths taking place. We have accompanied so many dead bodies to the crematorium or the burial ground. We all come back. Nobody goes with that. Came alone, will go alone. Came with nothing, go with nothing. But we came because he gave us this body, mind, intellect, the life force. And at the time of death also, I must remember him. It is because of you I had this innings of life. You gave me a good opportunity to do that. Now I am surrendering back to you. This attitude. Antakaleja mameva smaran mukta kalevaram. 8th chapter. So if I keep on thinking about it, delusion the hold of delusion will definitely come down to a very great extent. Because while from performing, the Vyavahara will put us in delusion. But every time, we will be cautioned, we will be guided, we will be warned. Hey, look here, this is impermanent, even this will pass away, We saw somewhere, this is written, even this will pass away. So this is Akshara Brahma Yoga. And the 9th is Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga. Beautiful. Everything is in him, while he is not to be limited in anything. He is in all of us, but he is not to be limited in us. This gives us a wonderful revelations. Everything is in the space, but space remains untouched, untainted, unaffected. That is why it's called Gagana Sadrisham. In all our mantras, you will find Gaganam. Parampuja Papa in Quest of God, first book, first chapter, he brings the word great void. G capital, V capital. Because in which the subtle and mysterious power is like the great void, in which everything exists. But that which is pulsating, activating everything is not limited to a particular object. In everywhere there is there, but it is not limited to that. I am part of the stupendous whole. So we start thinking. The sense of individuality is the cause for delusion. So this chapter will enable us to remove the sense of individuality by properly relating ourselves. So everything is in him, while he is not to be limited in anything. Whatever we do is to be offered to him, because we have not brought anything. We offer the flowers or fruits or naivedyam to the deity, We may feel that we have offered. But if we start analyzing, we have not grown the fruits. We have bought it from the market, the flowers. With the money God gave us. I did not bring my money with me when I came from the mother's womb. Think. So whatever we do is to be offered to Him by realizing that He is the goal, the supporter, the Lord, the witness, the abode, the refuge, the friend, the origin, the dissolution, the substratum, the storehouse, the seed immutable. So we keep on thinking about this, When we say friend, we should know basically, Yesterday Sundar was singing that, Oh Jagatata, Prem ke Sindhu, Please think, why do we say that he is a Prem ke Sindhu? He is the true friend who does not expect anything from us. We have never acknowledged his existence in us. We have never thought about him. We have ignored him unknowingly. We have not offered anything him. We don't develop any gratitude towards him. We don't reverently remember him. Still, he has not left us. That is the true friendship. Prem ke Sindhu, So out of these, one word, if we try to connect ourselves, suddenly we remember. Till we came in contact with our spiritual preceptor, Guru, we did not know this truth at all. Though in the common law, it is said, ignorance of law, it will not shield us from the punishment. The moment the law statute is there, we are bound to by it, we are to know that. But God makes an exception for us. In spite of the fact that we continue to ignore Him, until we met the spiritual preceptor and start doing some discipline to know about him. It might have taken place in our 10th year, 15th year, 20th year, 30th year, 40th year, 70th year. But still he has not left us and gone. True friendship. So this Rajavidya Rajaguhyam, it is a beautiful, he is Gadir Bharta, Prabhu Sakshi, Nivasa Sharanam Suhrad, Prabhava Pralayasthanam Nijanam Bidam Avyam. I would suggest that some slogas we should learn by heart. 18 chapters, 18 slogas. Because that will keep our enthusiasm in a flame. That is the translation of this. Gadir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Suhrad Prabhava Pralayasthanam Nidanam Bijam Avyayam. The supporter, the Lord, the witness, the abode, the refuge, the friend, the origin, the dissolution, the substratum, the storehouse, the seed immutable. And then whatever action is done, whatever is eaten, whatever is offered as sacrifice, whatever is given, whatever austerity performed, all are offered to him totally. Not as a ritual. Because we now realize everything is his. He gives us an opportunity to give it that to him. Many of you might not have, but in India we would have witnessed those who are following certain rituals. The priest will come. We don't know where to give dakshina, what to give dakshina. So we entrust the whole thing to the priest. The priest will give at the appropriate time in our hand. Then he will say, we give it back to him. You remember, any of you? We entrust the whole thing to the priest. At the appropriate time, he will give us with whatever betel leaf or mundu or something like that. And then he will himself stretch his hand. So we give him dakshina. Because that is the order. Guru dakshina is to be given at the various order, but we don't. It is not ours. So whatever action we do, whatever is eaten, whatever is offered as sacrifice, whatever is given, whatever austerity performed are all offered to Him totally. Initially we may forget, but we can try. And then this path is the royal path. Because here we have entrusted the whole thing. The ownership is transferred. Ownership is transferred lock, stock and barrel. So there is nobody to claim anything. But delusion, no, it will not arise at all. That is why it is called the royal path. This path is the royal path. Express highway to God, where we do not have to bother about anything because we are safe in His hands. Just like a child feels safe in the hands of the parents, they may look here and there as we children, when we go for the market or on the road, see, the mother will come and say and safeguard us, or the father will come. We don't have to bother, we are free. So Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. And then we come to the Vibhuti Yoga. Realize the eternal ephemeral nature, freedom from delusion, patience, adherence to truth, control, equal vision, non-violence, concentration, and the like, are His Vibhuti. So some Vibhuti, some acts, we call it as, we normally, in South India we say, Vibhuti means, that which has been offered at the Homagund. Then we take it and then we apply it on our this thing. The essence of it, symbolizing everything that has been offered there. With all our reverence, we offer so many things to the Lord in a Homagund, Havan. And then we take it out and apply the same on our forehead. There may be a lot of scientific explanation for it, but from the devotional angle, we are remembering. When we are applying this chandan or kungum, these are all vibhutis. What has been applied to the Lord? What we are applying on our forehead, it has come from Guruvayur. It has been the practice that Guruvayurappan sends this prasad. Whenever there is shot, he will see to it that somebody sends this prasad to us. To remember him, to connect ourselves with him. And so, this is symbolically represented by this chandan or kumkum or vibhuti. But here he says, the eternal and ephemeral nature. Eternal nature of the Almighty and the ephemeral nature of His creation. We keep on thinking about it. Freedom from delusion. Reality is there. Reality is there. I should see beyond the mist, beyond the fog. Patience. Adherence to truth. Control, self-control. Equal vision. Non-violence in thought, word and deed. Concentration with Shraddha, knowingly doing it, etc. are His vibhutis. These are His vibhutis. So when we try to practice this, it is, when we try to put this chandan, we should be conscious that it represents all these and more. And then he says how to get it. One method is to see Him in pure and gentle forms among human beings, to begin with. First we will see divinity in Rama, and later on we will see divinity in Ravana too. First we will see divinity in Rama. We will also see divinity in Mandara too. Slowly we will try to realize. We will try to see divinity in Sri Krishna. We will try to see divinity in Shakuni too. So one method is to see Him in pure and gentle forms among human beings. Grand and beautiful forms in nature. Everything in nature is good. But first, how do we get ourselves initiated into it? So that is why we all get inspired by the darshan of saints, yogis, bhaktottamas, who are totally devoted to one deity, When he gives the discourses, thousands of people go in because he is enjoying it, reveling in that bliss. And later on, we should be able to see him in there. Vinobaji used to say, first we will use small capital, big capital, yeah. Then we use small capital. Then we use 2 alphabets joined together. Then 3 alphabets joined together. And then words, then phrases, then idioms, it goes on. First we start with a single capital. Then we try to see the alphabets in everything, Elevating and deplorable, both. Both are the same. Alphabets are used. Positive and negative, same alphabets are used. Suddenly we realize, this is how we have to stretch. So that we will not get any aversion toward the so-called labeled negative, and so-called, we will not get elated because of the so-called labeled positive. Beautiful, it has been brought out. The Lord assures that when devotion is developed in that particular event or person or object in bhaktas, and to know and love him, he will take those bhaktas unto himself. We have plenty of instances. So Vibhuti Yoga. And we have been given the option to choose, That is the beauty of the whole Bhagavad Gita. He doesn't insist, though he says in certain times that you should do this, you should do that. As we said yesterday, 18 sloka, he gives us full freedom. Yatechasi tatha guru. Whatever you feel, you do it. And then we go to 11th chapter, Vishwarupa Darshan. He is present in different manifestations, different attributes. Whenever a greater manifestation of energy, beneficial and uplifting humanity become expressive, we should know that he is present there. First we will try to. Mahatmas, who are doing a selfless service, self-effacement, free from possessiveness, free from sense of we remember one incident. One of our friends from Mangalore, he was traveling to North India by train many decades ago. During this May, yes, it was extremely hot. So in every station, we ourselves have seen when we used to go. In many stations, there will be a big madka, a big earthen pot, where the water is stored, cool water. And as soon as the train stops, everybody will rush, and these people will give water to everybody. Free. Unlike today, water bottle. No, free. And people will put some coin in that madka as a gesture. But they are not asking for anything. So this gentleman, when he stopped at Agra or Jhansi, people were rushing, he also rushed. And one young man, young, energetic, dynamic person, he was trying to meet everybody's demand because there will be a lot of rush, And he was watching, our friend was watching, and finally when his turn came, he went lovingly, without any grumblings or complaints. I have done this much, finished, I'm done with, nothing like that. With the same enthusiasm right from the start to finish, he was giving. So he offered him some notes. So he said, no, please don't worry about it. Take this water and go. He insisted, you are doing a wonderful job. He did not pay any attention to it. He was attending to another who needed water. So the whistle he heard, so he got into the train. No, sorry, he came out of the station, correct. In the evening, he was staying there. And in the evening he was going around, so he wanted to buy some item. So he saw a hotel as well as a petty shop, no? All the basic things were sold. So he went there to buy something, soap or something. Suddenly he looked on the cash counter. This young man was sitting, who was supplying this water. So he asked this person who was in the shop, "Who is that?" He said, "He is the proprietor. Fairly a big hotel, having a lot of employees." This man went there, and elderly person, he gave a Sashtanga pranam to this young man. The young man got out, "What are you doing, uncle?" Then he said, "I did not know that you were a proprietor of the hotel. I offered you some petty amount. I shouldn't have done it." He said, "No, doesn't matter. He did not utter a word. Then later on, he came to know that every day during this particular period, this young man goes to the station, sees that he distributes water by himself. He can employ somebody, he can afford to put somebody there. The nirahankar, So why we remember this, wherever a greater manifestation of energy, beneficial and uplifting humanity, become expressive, we should know that he is present there. We don't have to go in search of him. A portion of God's own infinite nature is present. The Lord is present in different objects as different attributes, and that we find joy in them and feel a kind of relationship with them. The Lord says that he who is free from enmity to all creatures, who is free, engrossed in serving the world impartially without any expectation, who dedicates all his actions to God, who is full of devotion, who forgives all and is detached and full of love, becomes an instrument of him. Vishwarupa Darshanam, last sloka. 11th chapter, 55th sloka. Kindly read and reread and reread and reread again. Beautifully he brings out what is Vishwarupa. Because that is the quintessence of this entire Vishwarupa Darshanam. He is there in different forms, different attributes. As we said yesterday, the bitterness in the bitter gourd, the sweetness in the sugar cane, the spiciness in the chilies, the sourness in the tamarind, and the insipidness in butterfruit. You see that difference? Everything is a product of Mother Nature. So we can first, at these sattvic moments, when we are having the Satsang program, it is not very difficult for us to bring all these into our mind. The varieties. For the same father and mother, different types of children. A student, a professor or a lecturer or a teacher teaches the same student, a set of 60 or 70 students. All of them don't get 90 plus, Text is the same, subject is the same, text is the same, teacher is the same, mode of delivery is same, but receptivity changes. Assimilation, power of absorption changes. This I should accept. If I accept this, I will come out of delusion. And then we move to the 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga. Here, as we said yesterday, clear cut, not any tall talk. Beautifully brings out who is my dearest devotee, by which we come out of this self-inflicted prison of our own concepts. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karuna evaja nirmamo nirahankara samadukka sugakshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishchaya mayarpida mano buddhihi yomad bhakta same priya. Not merely reading this, we should try to relate to very experience. Nirmamo, for example, if we take one example, we don't have time, otherwise we would have elaborately discussed about it. We have brought out in PPT form PowerPoint presentation form, all these things have got examples. Examples drawn from contemporary world, not from the epics. Nirmamo, I will say. In Kanyangarh, there is a lottery ticket vendor. Every state government, many state governments have this. They bring out this lottery. You pay 1 rupee or 5 rupees or 10 rupees, and it will be drawn on a particular day, and then result will be announced. That person will get 1 lakh or 1 crore, something like that. Nowadays, crores. So this name Sudhakaran, he is the ticket vendor, seller, and then he used to have regular customers. So they will telephone to him and say, you keep 5 from Kerala, 5 from Tamil Nadu, something like that. So he will immediately take it a cover and put them in the cover and then write his name. One such person, he telephoned to this Sudhakaran, I want Kerala lottery ticket, 5. So he put it in the cover, put his name there. And someday they will come, they will pay the money. Regular customers. After 2 or 3 days, the man is yet to collect his ticket. Result was out. And that particular, the person who has telephoned, in that, the ticket lies, which has got 1 crore of rupees. 1 crore means 10 million. This Sudhakaran, he telephones to that person and says, he has not yet paid him. Please think about it. We are trying to understand what is nirmama, in actual life. So he was stunned. He said, I have not even paid. You come here and take it. So he came. Then immediately the news was came in the paper. He religiously handed it over, collected his ticket money. And then he got some commission, official commission from the department. And this man also moved. He said, you should take something. So we brought him to the ashram. And we asked him. He is a middle income group. And one of his sons, if you remember right, he is not mentally all right. Some disabled. But in spite of that, that means he is trying to make ends both, meet more than two. It's a struggle for him. But still, he was not tempted to do it. So when he came to the ashram, we asked him, the other man has not paid technically, but why did you think of handing over to him? Then he immediately, spontaneously replied in his Sahaja Svabhava, when we have written, it is his father has told us, what is not yours will never stick to you. So in spite of nirmamatam, absence of possessiveness. So when we read the Bhakti Yoga, we need not think that it is impossible. We have done some research on this. For all these shlokas, we were able to find out an example. So that through the example, we try to understand the meaning of it. Otherwise, it becomes, textual meaning. Practical life. So that is 12th. Oh, time is over. It is already 5:20. So rest of the things we will just read out and close it. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Separate the body and the knower of the body by following values again. Amanitvam Adambitvam. Then Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the 3 gunas, Sattva Rajas Tamas, bind the immutable being to the body. Immutable being is untouched, unaffected, but now we don't find it. It's so close. We know, but we know not. We identify immediately after this talk. We identify ourselves totally with the body only. That is because of this guna. And then Purushottama Yoga. That is Prakriti, Purusha, Purushottama. To know him is Jnana. To love him is bhakti, to serve him is karma. And 16th chapter, it will all require hours together, because if we have to bring in examples, elevating and downpulling forces are inside us, And by becoming aware of the same, hold on to the elevating ones. Here also we should not try to recite the sloka, but we should be able to bring out the example. That is how we try to understand the meaning. Not the literal meaning. We have to really understand, God has provided us, we don't have to search for it. God has provided everything to us. All that He has paraded before us, all that we need is to know that. Yes, today morning we read about Subrato Bakshis, like that, so many things are there. And then 17th is austerity in body, mind, speech, sattvic in food, yajna, dana, tapas. Without Shraddha, when austerity is performed, it is called asat. So, briefly telling, giving back to the Mother Nature, what we have taken, giving back to the society, we have taken, and giving back to our body. This is called tapas, yajna, dana, tapas. And there should be tapas in body, mind, speech. Elaborately it has been declared. And finally we move to the 18th, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, where total surrender clears all delusions, resulting in total effacement of the sense of individuality, thus becoming one with Him. Let us not come into the conclusion that the sense of individuality gets dropped. No. Sense of individuality remains with the feeling that he is only an instrument. If the battery is down, the laptop will not work. So if the laptop arrogates that I am giving all these things, here the laptop becomes aware that I become active and useful only because of the power. That is the final stage. I remain, but I remain not by myself, but because of Him. He and He alone is. I am but a slave. I am but a nimittam. I am but an instrument. So again we had to rush up in the end. Our only suggestion is that those who are having this Bhagavad Gita, kindly take up any sloka. Just open random. One sloka will come. Try to concentrate. God is guiding you to that particular sloka. There is a purpose behind it. You are not opening it. A mental prayer, with a mental prayer you just open. That sloka will come. And see how it is translated into daily life by many people. You will start parading it. You will start noting down. And you will slowly be initiated into this. This is why we said, this 18-roomed mansion called Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we first go to all rooms, come out, and then try to pick up one from each, and then concentrate on this. May we be all prompted to take it up with all seriousness so that we become the fittest instrument of Him to be offered. At the moment, the instrument may not be presentable or to be offered. It has to be made perfect. It should be flawless. So, through this exercise, which is also provided by Him, it has not been initiated by us. This is also provided by Him. With that, we will try to make our instrument more and more perfect and fit enough to be offered to Him at His holy feet. This is our humble prayer. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Glory to Him, the great provider. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.